Moving on with our discussion to field properties. First, we have closure properties. Closure property. It states that for any real numbers x and y, x plus y is a real number and x times y is a real number. What pasabot niya sa closure property, when you are adding or multiplying real numbers, ang iya pud nga answer is also a real number. So, mura ko na sa kung naa kay tanong nga mangga, syempre magbunga po na siya og mangga. Magtanong ka og saging, saging pud ang iya nga bunga. Oh. So, kung mag-add po ka og real numbers, ay ang answer real number sad. So, kung mag-multiply yung real numbers sad ang iya nga answer. And so, example for this are a plus 2b is a real number. So, kung mag-add ko ni a, plus ni 2b, in which si a o si b, wa pa ko kay bakong sa nga number because they are unknown, muna kay gi-represent pa sila og letters, we are sure nga ngayang answer is a real number. So, y plus 1 is a real number. 3 times a over 2 minus b minus 11 is also a real number. Next. Commutative property. Commutative property is closed under addition and multiplication gihapon. It states that for any real numbers x and y, x plus y is equal to y plus x. Okay, notice the pattern ha. Observe the pattern. And for x times y, that is also equal to y times x. So, when you are adding the icon og numbers, so, bisan og makbaylo na sila, so, kuha na siya. Okay na siya. Dili mausob ang iya nga nang answer. The same with multiplication. So, makana siya, example to that, a plus 2b is equal to 2b plus a. So, kung imong gibaylo si a plus b, siya diri nag-una na si 2b plus a. The same naman na sila nga number, so wala mausob ang iya nga answer just because imo sila nga usob og order. Y minus 5 plus 3x is equal to 3x plus y minus 5. X plus 1 times x minus 2 equals to x minus 2 x plus 1. Again, look at kaya na ang placement ha. Walay laing giusog kung dili ang ilaharang order kinsa ang nag-una o kinsa ang ikaduha. Wala na nga usob kanang nay minus. Dili pwede ni 2 minus x nga usbon mo sila tanan. Meaning kani siya o kana siya. Kana sila more gibaylo but it does not change nga kung na kay x minus 2 himo na imong 2 minus x. No, you cannot do that. Okay? And then we have, I'm sorry for the word if. Wala na siya ilabot. Okay. 3 times a over 2 minus b, that's also equal to a over 2 minus b times 3. That's commutative property. Next. I'm sorry, medyo naghang ang laptop. Okay, associative property. For any real numbers x, y, and z, so x plus y plus z is equal to x plus y plus z. So what's the difference? So here, you notice nga it's the grouping symbol that differs in position or ang iya nga coverage. So, equal sa multiplication pod, since associative property close under addition and multiplication gihapon na siya. So, x times y times z is equal to x times quantity of or the product of y times z. So, that is, for example, 2 plus negative 5. So, gi-enclose na nimo into a grouping symbol, which is a bracket. Tapos, plus 7. So, notice ha, walay nausob sa order of the number. 2, -5, 7. 2, -5, 7. What is changed is the grouping symbol nga nag-enclose sa mga number. Here, enclosed in the grouping symbol is 2 and -5. And ma'am, ngano naman ay parentheses? Kung naganitay duha ka operation nga nagsunod, look at plus and minus. Ato na siyang i-separate by a parentheses. So, mo na nga makakuan mo nga plus, dya negative. Kaya para ma-separate ang atong operation, ang atong sign. Here, wala na nato siya gisud og parentheses niya, bracket pag yun, tungod kay, wala man tay nag-una niya nga plus minus, na separate naman nato diretso. So, mo na siya, so diri ang grouping symbols, sa pag-abot diri na sa last two. So, thus associative property. Associative property, ang iyang kalahian is, ang na-change lang niya is the grouping symbol, not the placement of or the order of the number inside the field. 2y plus 5, enclosed by a parenthesis, plus 3x, equal ra po na siya sa 2y plus 5 plus 3x enclosed in parentheses. Okay, just observe unsay nang hitabo nga mga changes. 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 2 equals to 3 times x plus 1, x minus 2. So, tanawa ang parentheses. Okay. Next. 7x times 9y times 2z. So, equals to 7x, 9y times 2z. So, look at the parentheses, the bracket, asa na siya. Okay, so that's for associative property. Next, for distributive property, for any real numbers x, y, and z, it states that if x times, so ang distributive property of multiplication, nani siya duha case. First is over addition, and the other one is over subtraction. Now, kung mahitabo, ang diferensya, kung nakay factor outside, sa usa ka gi-enclose nga operation by addition, so imuhang i-distribute o multiply si x to y and to z. So, mo ng xy plus xz. X times y minus z. So, xy minus, you copy the middle nga kanang kuan, that is over subtraction, xz. So, for examples, so 2 times x plus 7. So, this is distributive property over of multiplication over addition. So, mahitabo, you multiply si 2 to 8. Diyan, multiply po si 2 to 7. So, mahitabo, mo ni, 2 times 8 plus 2 times 7. Pwede po na i-ditso na yung answer. So, 2 times quantity of 8 plus 7 equals to 16 plus 14. Pwede rin yapon. 5 times y plus 5. So, mahimo na siya nga 5 times y, so mahimo ng 5y. Again, so I told you, pag magtapad ang duha ka, o ang letter o ang number, it indicates multiplication. So, 5y, 5 times 5 equals to 25. Negative 3 times x squared minus 7 equals to negative 3 times x squared. Copy here minus, unja, negative 3 times 7 also. Okay. So, mahimo na siya, pwede po na siya nga na forma. So, negative 3 times x squared minus 7. So, negative 3x squared, pwede wala na parentheses. But still, kaning answer, okay na ha. And this one, negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. Negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. So, pwede resad na siya. Identity property of addition. So, identity property is closed under addition and multiplication, but first we'll have the addition. It says, there exists a real number 0 such that for any real number x, when x plus 0 equals to 0 plus x, that is equal to x itself. In simpler nga pagka ingon or define, any number being added by 0 equals to the number itself. So that's why it's called identity. So meaning, any number nga imong adan og 0, so ang mugawasan niya ang iyahara nga kaugalingon, mo na gitawag siya og identity property. Now, for example, we have 2x plus 0 equals to 2x. Then, 0 plus 100 equals to 100. And 5x minus 1 plus 9 minus 9, in which ang 9 minus 9, kani siya, 0 man na, no. Therefore, ang nahibili na lang is 5x minus 1. So, mauna siya answer. So, note, the additive identity of a certain number is 0. So, kani siya nga, kana ang additive identity meaning, put pasabot, kana siya nga number when added to a certain number, kato nga number apod ang mogawas nga result, which is its identity. Identity property of multiplication. There exists a real number 1 such that for any real number x, when multiplied to 1, so x times 1 or equal to 1 times x, that is equal to x itself. So, what pasabot, any number, real number, nga times na to 1, mo equal na sa iya nga number kaugalingon. Example, 2x times 1. So again, we use parentheses to indicate the multiplication operation of the sentence. So 2x times 1 equals to 2x, or the number itself. 1 times 100 equals to 100, which is the number itself being multiplied to 1. And we have 5x minus 1 times 9 minus 8. Diba? 9 minus 8 is 1. So, mahimo na siya nga 5x minus 1 times 1. So, therefore, kani si 5x minus 1, i-times na to sa 1, mauna siya ang result, which is the identity of the number operated. Note, the multiplicative identity is 1. So, katong sa addition, so the additive identity element is 0, meaning any number added by 0 equals to the number itself. Then the multiplicative identity number is 1, meaning any number being multiplied by 1 equals to the number itself. So second to the last properties. Inverse property of addition. So same with identity property. So this is close under addition and multiplication. So inverse property states that for every real number x, there exists a real number negative x such that x plus negative x is equal to negative x plus x, that is equal to 0. So how do you get the additive additive inverse of a given number, real number? So let's take a look at with this table. So for example, you are given with a real number 5. So ang iyang additive inverse is negative 5. So when you add 5 plus negative 5, that is equal to 0. So muna yung sum. When you are given a real number 200, so ang iyang additive inverse is negative 200. Meaning, ang iharap pod nga the same value, ang nakalahi, mo nagitaw siya og additive inverse, kay lahi siya og sign. So, sa positive nga value ni siya, ang iyahang exact nga value with negative nga sign, so mauna si ang iyang additive inverse. When added, equals to 0. Pero kung gihatag is negative 15, ang iyang additive inverse is the positive 1. Para inig-add mo, negative 15 plus positive 15 is equal to 0. So, kung ako'y fraction, 3/4. So, ang iyahang additive inverse is negative 3/4. Dili mausob, dili irreciprocal. Okay? So, 3/4 plus negative 3/4 equals to 0. Kung ako'y negative 1/2, the same, 1/2, pero positive. So, negative 1/2 plus positive 1/2 equals to 0. So, mao na siya ang kuan nato sa inverse or additive inverse of a given number. Now, for examples for this property. Example, I have here 2 plus negative 2x plus negative 2x equals to 0. Then negative 100 plus 100 equals 0. Then 0 equals to negative 5a plus 5a. Any of these kananang forma, so these are using kananaang inverse property of addition. So next, inverse property of multiplication. So, for every non-zero real number x, there exists a real number 1 over x, such that x times 1 over x equals to 1 over x times x, that is equal to 1. Ang nailhan ninyo ani, this is commonly known to you as the reciprocal. So, mauna ni siya ang reciprocal ninyo nga sa elementary, right? Diba pag nagtuon mo about division of fraction, so magamit og reciprocal. So, mao ni siya inverse property. So, for example, let's take a look at with this what is this? Table. So, kung naka real number nga 5, ang iyang multiplicative inverse is 1 over 5. If you remember sa atong elementary, for every whole number, na siya denominator nga 1. So, its multiplicative inverse or reciprocal is 1 over 5. So, when 5 is being multiplied to 1 over 5, the answer is, so, I'm sorry, this is a typo. This is product, since it is multiplication. So, this is equal to 1. And this is 1 over 2x. Unja, ang iyang multiplicative is 2x na lang. Kaya diba, that is supposed to be 2x over 1. But it's understood nga kung 1 ang iyang denominator, so whole number na siya. So 2x. Leave it be. So, 1 over 2x times 2x equals to 1. Negative 3/4. Look at ha. Negative 3/4. So, kung negative siya, negative po ang yung multiplicative inverse. Ang ma-change lang is ang placement sa ilahang nga numerator nga element o denominator. So, negative 4 over 3. So, mo na iyahang multiplicative inverse. So, negative 3 over 4 times negative 4 over 3, that is still equal to 1. So, mo na siya ang inverse property. And how to get the multiplicative inverse. For example, so we have negative 12 times negative 1 over 12 equals to 1. 2 over 3x times 3x over 2 equals to 1. So, kita ninyo diha nga unsay nga na ni, the same ang ato ang akwan ha, kung unsay imong given ya, the same pod unsay sign sa imong given, so the same pod ang sign sa imong inverse. The only thing na ma-change sa multiplicative inverse is the placement of, the element of numerator and denominator. So nagbaylo na siya kay gitawag man siya reciprocal binali. Okay, so that's it for inverse property. Last one nga property. So this is neither field nor kanaang sa equality. So, zero factor property. So, but this is important to know. Para nga makuan mo ani nga general nga rule or property. So, x times y equals to 0 if and only if x is equal to 0 or y is equal to 0 or both. In other words, any number that has a zero factor or gimultiply nimo siya og 0, ang answer ana is automatically 0. Diba? So, ang kuana ni very simple. So, 0 times negative 1 over 12 equals to 0. So, 100x times 10 minus 10, which is 10 minus 10 is 0. So, equals po na siya sa 0. Tungod kay si 100 times x times 0, 0 naman. Then, negative 3z plus 1 times 0 equals to 0. So, muna yung mga example of zero factor property or zero property na lang pwede rasad. Okay? So, mauna siya ang atong mga properties of real numbers. For the activities nga kung gihatag ninyo, so I made some examples para makita ninyo unsaon siya pag-answer. So, for the activities nga naa sa book nga kung gihatag ninyo katong 1 to 20, you are asked to identify the property or properties being used in the or in each item. So, bantayan niyo sa libro, they are using, nagibutan dito nga, what axiom. Ang axiom nga nibot pasabot ana, the same ra na with property. So, more na siya yung ipasabot. So, for example, number 1, we have negative 2 plus 2 times negative 12x plus 2 equals to 0. So, take note, nga nung na-equal man siya to 0. Because, kani siya dapita, negative 2 plus 2, diba? This is inverse. Positive and negative of itself. Tapos, gi-times ni mo diriya, diba? 0 na nino. I-times ni mo diriya, that's why nahimo siyang 0. So, you can have on this number, inverse property. That's check. But if you answer 0 factor property, that's also correct. But in your answer, you only have to answer 1 property. So, dili ko mo allow og duha ka property. So, once you write two or more nga mga properties diha, syempre ang uban maniguro no, tagna. So, dili na nako dawato na ako nang i-wrong automatic. Okay? But there are times in which most of the time, the statements are using more than 1 nga properties. However, sa ato nga answer, you only have to answer 1 lang nga property. Number 2, 2x plus 7 is a real number. So, this is very easy. This is closure property. Okay, dapat nga nang pagkasuwat ha. Then, if 2x minus 5 is equal to 23, then 23 is equal to 2x minus 5. So, unsam na siya nga forma. You can go back to the lesson. Tanaw ni mo unsay, ma-observe ninyo unsa ang mga forma sa mga numbers. Then, this is symmetric property. So, that's how you answer it, ha? Kato akong ipaansiran sa activity sa book. For the task sheet, for the activities in the task sheet. So, sa A, di ba? I gave you the instruction to write, if the property given is the correct property for the corresponding statement. Right now, if it is wrong, then write beside it the correct property of the statement given. So, number 1, if given 3x minus 1 equals 3x minus 1, reflexive property. So, is it correct or not correct? So, as you can see, pariha sila kaayo, exactly the same. Then, reflexive property, it's yeah. Okay, just write yeah. Number 2, if x equal to 5, then x plus 2 is equal to 7. Multiplication property. So, nga nun himuning 7? Nga nun na may x plus 2? Because when I added 2 here, I also add 2 here. So, that's why nahimong x plus 2, nya ka rin nahimong 7. So, it's not multiplication property. So, na. And the correct answer is addition property. If the answer is na, and another one nga answer is the correct property, that's 2 points, okay? And number 1, kung ya ang answer, so that's 1 point only. Okay? So, that's how you answer activity task sheet A. For B, that is complete the following statement using the indicated properties. So, for example, I have, if 2 times 3x minus 1, then equals to blank. Using distributive property, so you distribute si 2 times 3x, 2 times 2 times 1. So, this is over subtraction, so this will become 2 times 3x, copy, minus 2 times 1. 2 times 1. So, that's the answer. Kanila inyo isuwat sa blank, ha? Okay? Then, number 2, if x equal to 5 and 2y is equal to 5, then blank. Using transitive property. So, the answer is, so kung si x is equal to 5, si 2y is equal to 5, therefore, si x equals to 2y. Okay, so that's it. That's how you answer the activities I've given for you. To you. So, I hope you're going to understand carefully the video. While watching the video, you can take notes para nga dili mo magsigig balik-balik, makakuha ra mo reference whenever you need it. And I hope nga masabtan ninyo ang ato nga lesson. If you have any question, you can approach me, contact me through messenger or through sa katong phone nga contact number. So that would be all. Thank you everyone. Have fun with our activities.